Hi guys, hope you're well. You'll have to excuse me today, I've got such a sore throat, it is ridiculous. I'm on lemsips and all sorts. Right, after I posted my video about the Sculpey liquid haul, and I did that little bit of a test thing, a lovely lady left me a message. Melanie at Cape. Hi Melanie, thanks for your help by the way. Saying that maybe I had a few issues because I didn't stir it. Now, she sent me a few videos to watch and I've watched, and the ladies were one was a Sculpey demonstrator and one was a demonstrator that works on I forgot the lady's name, the lady who does all the cane, plastic cane stuff. She was a designer on her team. Teresa Salgo, is it? She's on our design team, and they were both pouring the Sculpey into a container and giving it a good stir. And whilst I appreciate that, how bloody wasteful is it to do that? If you're going to be using a mould and putting lots in a mould, then, you know, fair dues. But if you're just using little squirts here and there to drizzle, etc., then I really wouldn't want to be tipping it all out to mix it. And I understand why they're saying stir it. You don't want to introduce extra bubbles. Totally understand that. You know, it's true in a, you know, I do a lot of painting, and I used to do a lot of mixed media art, and a lot of the products there, if you shook them and they got frothy, it was a pain in the bum. So I totally get the stirring idea, but, and it's a big but, I'm not prepared to pour a full bottle of that into a tub in the air if I'm not going to be using it all. So, one, we could get a skewer, we could stir it in the bottle. A little bit messy, but you know, there we go. What I do, and I haven't done it to these new ones yet, is I put a glass bead in the bottle. So when I shake the bottle, the glass bead bounces around like it does in some of the mica powders you might buy. I've got some thin gesso, and that's got a shaker in it because it's the particles can settle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little test. I am not pouring these out. It's going to introduce air. They're going to evaporate, which will make them thicker. And then you're going to have to add some plasticizer. When I say plasticizer, guys, I'm talking about, I know Sculpey do their own. I prefer the Cernit one, the Magic Mix. This is a plasticizer. This is already in there, and that's what makes it fluid. If you put too much in, it'll make it plasticky. I've spoke to you get in length about that on another video. It's acetyl-butyl acetate, this, to get technical. They're all, these clear softeners, plasticizers. It's like an organic compound that adds to the fluidity and keeps it plasticized like a plastic. Anyway, I'll shut up about that. Don't want to get too technical on you guys. But so what I thought I would do is I've got a selection here of mine, and I am going to use it with the Fimo as well. What I tend to do before I'm going to use these, this is what I do. I give them a really good shake. Like I said, I haven't put a bead in the bottom of this. So what I'm going to do is stir one, because if you remember, these were a bit thin when I used them on black. So I'm going to stir because they're about the same consistency. I'm going to stir one, and I'm going to put a bead in the bottom of the other, and that will be our stirring or not stirring, or you know what we need to do, bearing in mind that once I give it a good shake, I stir it upside down and just give it another gentle shake before I'm going to use it. So I think that is perfectly enough to get this mixing. So I'm hoping that there's no change in these when I squirt them out. I'm going to do the same with the Fimo, because as you know, I find that really thin, and it flattens out, and if I've just not been stirring it properly or mixing it properly, and that's the issue, then I may change my mind about the brand, mightn't I? So we'll see. So I'm going to give them all. I think what I'll do is, to keep it fair, I'll stir one, put a ball in one. I'll put a ball, I'm going to treat them how I would treat them. I'm going to stir this one, but I'm going to put a ball in the rest, and then maybe on the black and white I'll stir one and I'll put a ball in one, because they're very similar consistency as well. Now I do know that the clear and the translucent work better if you give them a good stir up, but like I say, I've got balls in the bottom, so I think I'm getting a pretty decent consistency. So what I'm basically doing is trying to find us a better way of making sure it's mixed properly without having to decant the whole thing into a tub, which isn't a good thing to me. I don't know, maybe give me some feedback, guys. Is that something you do? Do you use your moulds a lot? So you do tip, because you need to tip it all out to make sure you're getting everything mixed well, don't you? You can't just tip a bit out, because you might have left some goodness in the bottom of the tub. So while I totally get the tip it out and stir it business, I don't think it's everyday practical if you're not making masses of stuff. You know, 2 ounces of that is a lot of stuff, isn't it? Anyway, let's crack on, let's do this, and see what you all think about it. Like I say, when Mel mentioned it, and she, bless her, I couldn't find any videos bar one Sculpey video that was telling you the difference between these two and make sure you stir them. So she, bless her, found me some videos so I could go and have a look and see what she was talking about. And it does say on the bottle, stir before using, stir before using. Like I said, to me, shaking with a glass ball in is just something I've always done with sort of these, you know, not just polymer clay, liquid clays, with all different sorts of products. So we'll have a little test and see what happens basically. So yeah, so one stir, one ball. I'll just put a ball into the gold. I'm going to put a ball in the Fimo, and no, I'm going to stir the silver Fimo, but shake the silver Sculpey. I'm not too sure. Have I got another bottle? No, I haven't. I've only got one bottle of each of these, so they're kind of a different product, aren't they? But I'll stir one and I'll put a ball in the other, and we'll treat them as if they're a similar product, even though the one's clear and one's translucent. And I'll do the same with the black and the white. I'll put a ball in one and I'll stir the other with a stick in the bottle. I am not decanting them. That just seems really wasteful to me. Like I said, unless you're filling loads of moulds with them, I wouldn't advise decanting them at all, because they're going to dry out. Then you've got to try and get all that back in the bottle, and it doesn't seem practical to me, guys. So let's find another way of doing it if you don't want to decant the whole bottle. So I'll go and get some skewers and some bits and bobs together, and let's do this and see what happens. Test. Oh, I feel like, what did I get? I'm more of a crash test dummy, aren't I, really, than anyway, it's, do you know what time it is here? It's 6:05 in the morning. I've been up since 4. I couldn't sleep. Then I'd seen the messages off Melanie and thought, do you know what, let's do this, let's do it, because I would hate to think I'm giving you guys some duff information. I'm all, you know, all for sharing good information, and I do think there's a lot of misinformation out there, guys. I've said this before. So let's do it. Let's test these. Let's see if it makes any difference whatsoever, whether you stir it, whether you shake it. I get the introduction of air, but these are quite thick, so you're not going to get like a froth or anything. And like I said, that's what I've been doing. I've been shaking them with a ball in the bottle. So let's do this. I'll go and get some bits together. I'll cut out some scraps of clay for us to test on, and we'll take it from there. Okay guys, see you in a minute. Okay guys, I've done some prep. These are the ones with the balls in. I've done what I always do. I've just given them a really good shake, and then I've put them upside down. This is how I would normally use them. So I've one already had a ball in, so I've just put, and when I say ball, I mean they're just glass beads. I've just put 2 glass beads in each. You could use ball bearings or something similar. I wouldn't use plastic because it might break down in the stuff. So just some glass beads, and that's all I use. So they've all got 2 glass beads in each now. I've given them a really good shake, and I've turned them upside down, which is how I normally use them. I haven't done anything with, I've put the gold to one side because it was just the odd one out, and I've made a little list here so it can go in the oven. So we've got all the balls with the colour at the side of it, and all the stirs with the colour at the side of it, just so we don't get mixed up. And I've just made these little discs, and all I'm going to do is drizzle and do a dot so we can get an idea with them, and then we can have a look at them when they're cooked. So I shall start with these stirring ones. So I haven't shaken these, I've not done anything. I'm just going to take the lid off, and I'm hoping, yeah, I've just got these little skewers. I'm just going to put my skewer into the bottom and give it a really good stir up. Make sure I've scraped the sides and everything so there's no bits left around, and I'll just give it a really good stir up. Maybe I should time it and stir each one for kind of 2 minutes, but I'll just do what I think I feels right, if that makes sense. And again, I'm not going to decant these because that's just seems absolutely wasteful to me, and you're not going to get everything out of the bottle, are you? Not unless you stand it upside down for ages. And like I said, if you're going to use moulds and you're using a lot of it, then fair play, you know, tip it all out in a tub and stir it up. But if you're just doing a few squirts like I use, it just seems extremely wasteful. Does it not? Or is that just me, guys? Maybe it is just me. Maybe I think it's wasteful and you don't. Let me know. Right, I'm just tapping it to bring it down to the nozzle, and I've done a dot, and I'll do a drizzle. I'll just grab a bit of kitchen roll, guys, and I can wipe my nozzles while I'm going. So that's the blue. Now this one will be interesting, the Fimo, because you know what, I'm not keen on this, but if I really don't think it's going to make a difference shaking or stirring, but you never know, do you? You never know, hence me trying this out. So I'm just going to give it a good stir, scrape the sides, make sure I've got all the little mica particles mixing up. Even this seems wasteful because I've got loads on the stick. I'm such a saddo, aren't I? But I think these things aren't cheap, are they, guys? You know, £7 or £8 a bottle. To be wasting it, half of it, tipping it out and trying to get it back in the bottle, just doesn't ring okay with me. And again, I'm not an expert, guys. I'm just trying to you know, show you different ways of doing things. Right, I'll do a dot and I'll do a drizzle. Now I will say off the bat, that does feel a little bit thicker. We'll see what happens and how it flattens out in the oven. There's the silver. This is just translucent. Now I know I have, well, I shake them. I do give these a really good shake before I use them anyway. And again, I just normally put them upside down. So I'm not expecting a massive difference, to be honest, guys, to what I normally do. But we'll see, won't we? That's why we're doing it. We'll see. Let's give this a good stir. I'm making sure that I'm getting right into the bottom of that bottle and giving it a really good stir around. I know it doesn't look like it, but that's what I'm doing. Oh, it's quite thick, this one. Although I've had these ones a while and they do thicken up a little bit, don't they? Let's just scrape that excess off. Oh, and all I'm doing now is just tapping it to bring it down to the nozzle. and I'll do a dot, and I'll do a stripe. Not that it matters much with the translucent guys, but we've got to treat them all the same, haven't we? And next the white. Now there's already a ball in the bottom of this, but I shan't worry about it. Let's get right to the bottom and give it a good scrape. Oh, it's hurting my fingers. All this stirring. I think that's okay now. Can't see any lumps anywhere. It seems pretty consistent all the way through. Just get rid of that. And again, same. Just going to tap it on the side of my desk to bring it down to the nozzle. And I'll do a dot. This bugs me. I think this, can you see the white? I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the black speck in this? I think it actually degrades the black lid. And I haven't got a new, no, I haven't got a new white, you know, in the new bottles. I'm wondering if I'm just going to wipe that piece off, guys. I think it's breaking down the plastic in the lid, in the white. Now this is an older bottle. Right, we've got a blob. And we've got a stripe. Right, there we go. So that's them ones. Right, what's we got? First, rose gold. Now, like I said, these have been standing upside down. Can you see the translucency in the bottom of the bottle? So I know that anything that was on the bottom of there is now fell into the rest of the bottle. So now I've done that, I'm just going to give it one final shake. Again, this is just what I always do. Big shake upside down, and then big shake before I use it. And these have obviously all got the balls in, guys. I'll just tap it to bring it down to the nozzle, and I hope my ball isn't in there. Oh, I diddled it too quick. Right, we're going to do a... Oh, I've not opened it up enough. Still not opened it up enough. Bet that ball's got stuck. A drop and a drizzle. Now that's just seems as runny as it was the last time we used it. So that's that one, and then silver. This is the Sculpey silver, obviously. And I'm just gonna give it another good shake. Make sure all them bits are mixed in. Give it a little tap to bring it down. Dot. And a drizzle. And then we've got the clear, same again. You can see, guys, that it's gone clear in, you know, the bottle at the end. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out, but I know everything's run down from the bottom now by doing that. So, oh, just give it a tap. Drop. And a drizzle. finally the black. Again, I'm just giving it a final shake. Take the lid off. Might be able to see this on here, but there's a drop. And there's a drizzle. There we go, guys. Right, they're all done. I'm going to put them in the I'm going to just give it a couple of minutes to let these warm up, as these have, and then I'll pop them in the oven to bake, and we can have a look at the results. Oh, I just stuck my finger in that. Daft apeth. Right, guys, I'll see you when they're baked. I'm just going to do 20 minutes at my normal temperature, just so I know that the discs are firm enough, because I think this says up to 10 minutes, doesn't it? Silicone mold, 15 minutes. So yeah, I'll just do 15 minutes as it says on the bottle, then we'll be in fur. Let me just check with the female one. I think the female's the same. Do not overheat, not a toy, stir thoroughly, read the instructions. Now this says 20 minutes on it, so I'll put them all in for 20 minutes because I know that the Sculpey can stand it, just so that I know that everything's been treated fairly. Right, guys, I'll pop these in. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, guys, we're back, we're baked, we're cool. Now then, I'm going to zoom you down a little bit, just so you can see better. First off, quick look so you can see before I take them off. Stirred, shaken, stirred, shaken, stirred, shaken, stirred, shaken. Personally, quick look, whether you stir or you shake, don't think it makes a blind bit of notice, as long as you do one of them. Now then, I'll go through the, in fact I'll compare each one, so I'll peel them off the paper. Now, I didn't keep the little bits that I did the other day, and I should have, because they'd have been a really good comparison, wouldn't they? But you can see where this has run, it's still quite translucent. I'm not sure you can make it out, but on the edges here where it's thinned, it is still quite translucent. I think this is a bit thicker than I put on previously, and you can see on the back where it's run that it is still quite translucent, so I don't think shaking or stirring would have made a blind bit of a difference. As long as you do one, you can see on this blue the same on this edge. I don't think they're any shinier mica wise than the other pieces I did. Maybe a little bit more, and obviously I haven't buffed these or anything, guys. This is how they've come straight out the oven. They feel just like the rest of the clay does, which is what I like with this stuff. Obviously quite flexible, but with those two colours, if you remember in the other video I said that it was quite translucent over black. I still think unless you're putting it on thick, it would still be quite translucent over black. Just looking at those, especially in this area here, you can see, tip it to the light, there you go, you can see the black through it, can't you? So And then the silvers. Now I am a little bit shocked. Both the silvers are fine. As you can see, the female one has spread out quite a bit, which I knew it would because that's what it does. Now the difference when I've stirred this is it looks more shiny, so maybe I didn't shake it well enough. So I'm going to give female another, I'm going to give it a break. I'm gonna, you know, sorry female, still feels plasticky though. It doesn't feel like clay, it feels rubbery. And can you see how that's bending? Whereas this silver here, yes it bends, but it feels more like clay when it bends. It's not as rubbery looking. So it flattens out more and it still feels rubbery. It almost, I don't know if you'd be able to hear it. It almost squeaks. It's that rubbery. So the colour's fabulous. Yes, I possibly didn't shake it enough to get the mica going, but I'm still not enamoured with it. The Sculpey stuff just feels like clay. It feels like a piece, like it's part of the clay. That could be a silver piece of clay that I've put over. A little bit of translucency through the black, but not a lot. Again, don't think there's much difference between shaking and stirring with the silver, except the female one does look a bit better because it's had a good stir. So maybe when I first used it I didn't shake it enough, but I don't like that plastic feeling at all. Whereas the Sculpey just feels like clay. So that's that one, and then I'll just get the clear. Oh, come up. And the translucent again. Obviously one's clear and one's translucent, guys. This actually shows how different they both are, because that just looks like matte black clay on there, doesn't it? The translucent, it's translucent, it's not clear. It's like a window. Translucent is like a frosted window. That's the best way I can describe them. But I don't think there's any difference whatsoever how they feel or anything. They don't feel any different. So again, shaking and stirring, and there's no little bits of bubbles in that one, as you can see, or anything. So shaking it hasn't really aerated it or anything. I will say again, I don't think there's any difference between shaking and stirring for those two. And then the black and white, perfectly smooth, beautiful. I mean, look, this is what I like about this stuff. That ridge is so pronounced on these. They just keep the shape in the oven. You know, look at how perfectly domed that dot is. Whereas the female, I'll just pick the female one up and show you. That's totally flattened out. But the Sculpey keeps its definition. And again, surface wise, looking for bubbles, stuff like that, there isn't any difference. You know, they both feel the same. They both feel like proper clay. So what do I think? Well, if you want, especially your metallics, if you want to decant it all into a tub, because you're going to use all of the bottle or most of the bottle, and bear that in mind, guys, if you're not stirring it in the bottle like I just did, and you're decanting it all out, you've got to make sure you get it all out. You could be leaving some of the plasticizer behind. You could be leaving some of the particles behind. So you've got to make sure that bottle is truly drained to get a good mix. I personally do not think decanting it into a tub is cost effective. Put a stick in it and stir it by all means, but I think sticking a couple of glass beads in and giving it a really good shake, and then standing it upside down so that, you know, anything that's maybe gathered here has come down into the rest of the liquid. Give it another little shake before you use it. Is more than adequate. You know, you can see here the mica particles are perfect on that. Again, on this one, you know, there's no cloudiness, no nothing. It's fine. It's fine, just giving them a damn good shake is what I'm going to say. Unless you're using a massive amount, don't decant it, guys. It's bloody wasteful if nothing else. Stick a stick in it, give it a really good stir up, by all means, or the easy way, stick a couple of glass beads in, give it a good shake, turn it upside down, give it another little shake. Bob's your uncle. It's all about making sure that the product's mixed, isn't it? And like I say, with the Fimo, I'm still not keen on the texture of it. I do think it's very rubbery, but it does look a lot shinier. So maybe I didn't, when I first used it, maybe I didn't give it a good enough shake. My bad, but I'm still not keen on it because I don't like that rubbery feeling. It really is rubbery. I can't describe it to you. Like when you tap this, I'll try and put my nail in. Oh, I did it then. I put my nail in and it's bounced back. Don't know if you can make that out. I bet on this Fimo it stays because it's, yeah, can you see there? Sorry Fimo, it just rubbery. You're just rubbery and I'm not keen on you. Poor Fimo. And I love Fimo clay as well. It's just, but I don't like it's probably the plasticizer they've used, isn't it? Anyway, there we go, guys. I had to do it just to satisfy my own brain. So by all means, decant the bloody lot and give it a good stir. I think that's wasteful, and unless you're careful, you're not going to get all that product out of there. Stick a stick in it and stir it up, or stick a couple of glass beads in and give it a shake. The choice is yours. I'm going to stick with my couple of beads and tip it upside down, and there you go. I'll just show you on this white one what I mean. Can you see there, that line? All the product has now run down to there, so anything that was stuck in the bottom now is mixing with this. So I think that's enough. Right, I'm glad I finished that, but I had to do it, guys. You know me, I don't want to be giving you dodgy information, and I'm not the work, you know, I'm not somebody who's been playing with clay for 20 years. These are pretty new to me, except for using them for glue. So we've had a test, we've had a play, make your own conclusions, but there is no difference, shaken or stirred. The choice is yours. Enjoy. Give me some of your feedback in the comments and let me know what you generally do. Have you had any issues with it, separating and stuff? You know, some of my bottles have been sit on the side for weeks on end. So, you know, they are going to separate and stuff, like any liquid with a, you know, bits in it, suspended in it, is going to separate. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys. But I think it, you know, it just goes to show, doesn't it, that, you know, we don't have to, I'm not saying don't stick to the rules, but find your own way of doing something. If it works for you, then it's fine that it works for you, and it doesn't matter if everybody else is doing it differently, does it? Because that's what matters, works for you. So do your own little experiments. You know, I've not wasted much, have I? Just testing this. Just run some little experiments, see how you feel about stuff. Take the plunge. Or just ask me and I'll do it for you. There's one, isn't it? Yeah, if you want me to test anything, or you're worried about doing something and you're not too sure, you can always message me. I'm not saying I'll make a joke of it, but I'll make a little video and say, right, you know, Joe Blogs has asked me to do this. Here we go. I'm always up for a giggle. So there we go, guys. In conclusion, I would say it doesn't make the damned bit of difference whether you stir it or you shake it. That's all I'm going to say. See you later. Bye, guys.